In this episode, I'm going to go over the installation of the park brake. Now, some people, in their race cars, they don't bother to put a park brake in, and maybe some other hot rodders don't. But if you're going to drive it on the road, I highly recommend it. I'm going to tell you a reason for that. Many years ago, I was driving to work one morning, getting off the freeway, and I suddenly had no brakes. I was going downhill 70 miles an hour, and there was a stoplight ahead with traffic, stopped and crossing, heavy traffic crossing. And I used my park brake and my transmission to slow me down, and I got slowed down to a controlled stop without incident. And from that, I just won't drive a vehicle on the streets without it, because you never know when you're going to have no brakes and you're going to have some excitement. I bought my park brake kit on Amazon, a company called X4XZ Auto Parts. Never heard of them before, but the price was good and the parts looked right. It came and it had a box in it. In the box, it was just a bag, all parts, no instructions. And but it had the number 330-9371 on it. So I went online, I entered that number, and up came the Willwood disc brake instructions. Imagine that. I guess Willwood buys their brakes from the same place this X4XZ does, their brake parts. I looked at the parts list and it had exactly the same parts that I had, so I knew this was the correct set of instructions for the kit I bought at Amazon. It's a universal brake kit. It'll work for disc brakes, which you see illustrated above, or for shoe brakes illustrated below. Now I have disc brakes on my street rod. My axle originally came with the shoe brakes, but I don't like those, so I took them off and bought a kit and put disc brakes on the back end. That red line I highlighted, that's the cable that comes out of the sheath on the cable, and the little yellow thing on the end is a little tab or welt, whatever you call it, and you find a place to hook it up. And the other end of the hardware set has a clevis for hooking onto a foot brake or hand brake that has a lever for it. On the Willys, there's not enough room down by the feet for a park brake, so I opted with a hand brake. And we'll see here in the next clip how I have connected that up to the hand brake. Okay, here's this week's riddle. What do you get when you cross a dog with a cat? Okay, here we are inside the cabin of the car, and this is the hardware that came with the universal kit, except for this cable right here. Well, the cable came with it, but I had to make a special extension. I looped it around the clevis that usually connects to the, would connect normally to a foot pedal, but I don't have a foot pedal. I've got this hand brake lever that I got out of a Camaro, which is cable driven, and I made myself a loop. Now these swedges on here, I don't go down and buy a swedge in a swedge kit. These are hex nuts, and you put the hex nut on and you put over your anvil and you smash it down with a hammer, and the threads on the hex bolt, not only those two there, but at this end as well, they lock into the steel cable very well, and they're quite taut. And of course, you trim off the extra sheathing and the holes where you come through the body. You pucky those up with some RTV. Now here, this is a piece of metal that was left over from my bumper fabrication, and it provides very good base. I've got it bolted down to the floor. You've really got to, this thing's, I'll take my word for it. I haven't got the leverage right now to do it. As you can see, it takes a little leverage to pull the park brake up, Just a little bit of force, and I'm not the best angle, so it looks harder than it is. But that's why you bolt the thing to the floor. You've got to really make sure this thing hangs on, because that's really quite a bit of load that the handbrake lever applies to its mount. With the park brake off, I'm just a little loose back here, and I can feel just a little bit of daylight between the pads and the rotor. Now I've got the car in park anyway, so I can't spin this to see how it goes. I suppose I could take it out of park. Now I also notice that when I've got it all clinched up, yeah, it's up a little tighter. And I definitely don't have, the calipers are definitely grabbing. You really can't see it, but believe me, I can really feel it. You can see here, here's my stop at the end. This is the bracket that pulls back, this one here, I'm rubbing. Pulls back when you pull on the park brake, and this is a spring that is a return spring. Now the kit came with a clevis that connects up here at this end, and it's designed that way for brakes that have a spring, return spring that comes from this bracket on down. And I didn't need the clevis. They'll just go in my bucket of strange car parts. Maybe I'll use them someday. But my cables, my return spring is in line with the cable. You just had to feed it in through there. I have a little pick tool that I helped guide it down the hole here, the cable bolted onto this end, and it routes down and around. You want to make sure that your run from a attach point out here to the brake on your cable articulates so does your drive shaft goes up and down. You don't create a strain, any strain on the cable. Put one hold on here. There's another one up underneath the car, and then it runs through a hole into the passenger compartment. Both sides. Nice and clean and easy. Okay, here's the answer to the riddle. Scientists have never attempted to cross a dog and a cat because they do not want to create something that will hump their leg and claw it at the same time. Okay, that's it for today. Next time I'll be installing the steering column and steering wheel. There's actually some very useful tips in that video. It's not exactly easy. I ran into some problems, and I'm going to explain what I did wrong, and maybe you'll avoid that. For now, farewell.